It's 2 a.m. This will be the final Helene update for the night. Hurricane Helene now crossing. Pretty much the center has crossed into Georgia. You could see it there racing into Georgia on this satellite image. We'll have another one to show you here. And you can see definitely we'll refresh this one again to show you just how it's really trucking into Georgia. You can definitely see it's now finally starting to weaken as it's making its way inland. Let's go look at the latest update from the Hurricane Center here. 2 a.m. Helene is weakening, but it is still a life-threatening storm. 2 a.m. It's location 31.2 north, 83.3 west, about 30 miles north of Valdosta, Georgia, and about 85 miles northeast of Tallahassee, Florida. Maximum sustained winds down to 90 miles an hour, and that makes it a Category 1. North-northeast wind at 20 north. It's moving north-northeast at 26 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure now up to 955 millibars to 8.20 inches. And we can hear there will be continued weakening, but because of the fast forward speed, the gusts will still be able to penetrate inland. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles to the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 320 miles, mainly to the east of the center. An automated station at Grassy Pond, Georgia, just south of Valdosta, recently reported a wind gust of 96 miles an hour. On the Atlantic coast of Georgia, Savannah International Airport recently reported a wind gust of 75 miles an hour. So, and also Cedar Key recently reported a water level now up to 9.30 feet above mean higher water. So that's quite a storm surge there. Record storm surges there, as well as in the Tampa area as well. Let's look at some of the observations in the area here. We still got some strong winds going on. And also note the strong winds also around Jacksonville as well. They've been dealing with some pretty strong wind gusts as well. Right now they're gusting to 45, but earlier I think they were gusting to well above that. Let's see what they had, gusts up to, up into the 50s there. So even gust into the 60s. So that is, they were gusting quite a bit there. And as a result of that, there are quite a bit of power outages even on the east side here. Still seeing a 63-mile-an-hour wind gust at Moody Air Force Base. Making our way into Georgia here. Fitzgerald Airport has a wind gust of 56. So we're still seeing these winds. And it's just such a big area that's being affected. And we still have a few red splotches here, which are tornado warnings here. I'll make this layer a little more intense here. But these are the tornado warnings that we have here. So we still seeing tornado warnings even into South Carolina. We're seeing, and there's a tornado watch. You can see the pink area. This is where the hurricane warning is. Tropical storm warning goes well into almost the rest of the state of Georgia, well up inland because of how fast this storm is moving. Let's look at the radar. Before we go to the radar, let's go to the power outages. Refresh this here. Florida now over 1.3 million without power in Florida. And again, more or less a complete blackout in this part of Florida here. Complete blackout in these areas here. Most of these are small towns. They're not big cities, but still a lot of areas without power right now. Tallahassee on the edge of that, I believe. I think this is Tallahassee County, somewhere over here, somewhere Tallahassee, somewhere over here, I think. They're on the edge of this. But they're also dealing with a number of power outages as well. But it's worse as you make your way into these areas here, where you more or less have complete blackouts. But even the east coast of Florida, Duval County, is seeing quite a few people out of power as well. So even on the northeast part of Florida, and all the way down the west coast here, this is affecting a very large area. And just to show you an example here, Jacksonville Electric is reporting a quarter of its customers out of power, 27%. And you can see all the outages that they have around. So quite because of those strong wind gusts blowing the trees onto the power lines. Trees are snapping, and you're seeing these outages here. Just as one example here, Jacksonville Weather Service has lost power. Also, they have supposed to have generators, but for whatever reason, they did not kick on. So they're having the New Orleans weather office fill in for them. Yeah, this is what's going on here. So there's no radar out of Jacksonville as a result of this. This was the last radar that they have. This is off a different radar site, I think. You can see there's the storm right there making its way in. We're going to go to another radar here. And then we got to talk about Georgia, too, and the power outages there. We will talk about that. But, again, this is what it looks like here on the radar. And you can see it's now moving into Douglas. Yeah, these areas are getting hit very hard now. Douglas, which looks like a decent-sized city in Georgia, getting hit now by the extreme wind and rain. Let's see if we can get some observations out of that area. We have to just turn this down here and see if I can find it first of all. Gotta find Douglas. Let's see. Those layers are still too. It's really hard with those layers. Those layers are really. I'm gonna find the center of circulation here. So Douglas. Here's Douglas right here. So I want to see. Do we have? Yep, Douglas. So Douglas is reporting an east-north-southeast wind gusting to 79 miles an hour. So in these rain bands, you're just getting really high winds. And the other story, of course, is the rain. We have a number of flash flood warnings in effect as well. That's flash flood warnings. There's many different colors here, again, that we're seeing here in this area. And, of course, we have some tornado warnings as well. So we're still seeing these very, very strong winds. And then we got to look at the rainfall. So we're going to go here, look at some we're going to go to the precipitation and show how much rain has fallen in the past 36 hours. And you can see here a lot of rain in some of these areas. A lot of rain. This is also affecting the Atlanta suburbs. We have flash flood warnings in effect for a lot of these areas. You can see all these high rainfall amounts go well inland. I'll put this to 12 hours, just the past 12 hours, just to show you how much rain has fallen in the past 12 hours. And it's a lot of rain. And there's more rain to come for this area. And that's the issue that we have. So we're going to go now, and we're going to go and look at the Atlanta Weather Service. I'll go to the Atlanta, Georgia Weather Office. All right, this kind of shows you the radar. Again, you can see those green boxes, and there's a lot of them. Those are where all your flash flood warnings are. The red boxes, those bright red boxes, tornado warnings, and that's the radar right there. And you can see just all the different reports coming in. Now we'll go back to the power outage map, and we'll look at Georgia, which is probably up closing in on 400,000. You can see, look at that, almost the whole southern part of the state is completely without power. So, and this is going to make its way northward and cause more power to go out as it makes its way northward further into Georgia. So we have a lot, probably going to be over 1 million in Georgia, probably. I would say just as many in Georgia as Florida. You're probably going to see close to 1.3 million without power. Perhaps even more. Georgia Power looks like they're being affected, but you have some of the other areas like a lot of these electric cooperatives and stuff that are also being affected. You also have on-track providers as well in here. So you're having a lot of widespread damage to the power grids in these areas here. Not surprising considering the really high winds that are making their way inland, and we're still seeing winds gusting over hurricane force. So this is causing a lot of damage in this area between the wind and the rain. And you also have the ground that's soft from all the rain, so it doesn't take a lot to bring a tree down, uproot it, and bring it down on power lines. And there may be some transmission lines also coming down. And we're going to know a lot more tomorrow on the damage to the power grid. Obviously now we don't know. We're just going to have to wait till tomorrow and find out exactly how severely the power grids were damaged in these areas. Most of the transmission lines are on metal poles or steel poles, but the wires can still get ripped down from the winds, and that there could be transmission outages as well. And we'll find out about all of this more tomorrow, I think. But I think that's going to do it for this update here on Hurricane Helene. And next time hopefully with the next update, which I'll update you sometime tomorrow, hopefully before the afternoon. This will have weakened to a tropical storm, but it is still something that is very, very powerful, that is creating a lot of damage and devastation. I know everybody's been focused on Florida, but now it's Georgia's turn to deal with all the pain that this storm is going to bring. And we pray for them, as well as those in Florida that are dealing with all this destruction from Hurricane Helene.